you don't know who Stephen Miller is from America First Legal, folks, he is one of the great patriots, one of the senior Trump advisors who come up with a lot of the MAGA policies, including the Remain in Mexico, parole in place, and so many things that were just there to help slow down the influx of all these migrants. And he's fighting for our elections as well. I follow him very closely over on Twitter. He's one of the good guys. Works very close hand in hand with a lot of the governors and attorney generals and secretary of states trying to clean up the voter rolls, including our great attorney general here in Texas. I'm talking about Ken Paxton. But got an interview from him here. Start off with, I got several things I want to bring to y'all on Twitter as well. Even an interview from Ken Paxton too. We want to talk a little bit about elections today and a few other things that I thought were definitely worth sharing. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you don't know Stephen Miller, go give him a subscription or a follow over on Twitter if you or any of these other platforms if you do jump around like me to several different sources. Let's go ahead and get into it, like I said. But it's good information. Good to know. One of the smartest people around as far as Trump policies go, and he's smart enough to know how to fix some of these situations by putting the legality in their face. All right, let me shrink myself down and we'll jump right into it.
America First legal founder and former senior advisor to Trump, Stephen Miller, is here. First of all, where are you, Miller? What mysterious land are you hailing from right now?
I'm at a very, very top secret location, helping to work with a team of very talented people on getting the criminal migrants out of our country when Donald Trump wins. So for obvious reasons, Jesse, we cannot disclose that location, as I'm sure you understand.
Okay, good. We don't want any security threats. You are saving the world one day at a time. Kamala Harris, explain her to me, please. I don't understand what she wants, how she's going to do what she wants, and no one else does.
I don't understand why you're so confused, Jesse. It's very, very simple. Kamala Harris worked for Joe Biden, but also never met him and has no involvement with any of his policies. She was vice president for 3.5 years, but never actually showed up to work, except when she did show up to work, she was incredible, but nobody ever saw her there, and she had nothing to do with the border, except for when she was border czar. It's a very clear, crisp narrative, Jesse, that obviously they're going to take all the way to Election Day. Also, this CNN plan is absolutely brilliant, because what better way to show you're ready to take on Putin, to take on Xi, to take on ISIS, to take on the drug cartels, to take on America's former enemies, than to show that you have the moxie as a liberal Democrat to sit down in a taped, edited interview with a babysitter named Tim Walz across from Dana Bash. If that doesn't show courage, Jesse, I mean, think about it. This is a liberal Democrat staring down Dana Bash in an interview that she can edit with Tim Walz minding her the entire time. I mean, Normandy, the invasion of Normandy wasn't courageous compared to this.
You know, the thought process going into this,
Miller. Of the Delaware.
You know, they took 39 days to decide to do CNN. It's not like they went in to go into 60 Minutes or went to
less time
Brett
planning the moon
Baier.
landing. The guys that were at Mission Control spent less time figuring out how to get a man onto the moon than it took for them to figure out they could do a taped interview with Tim Walz and Dana Bash. The Democrats installed as their nominee. Think about this. They installed the only liberal in America afraid to do a CNN hit. The only one. And she's the nominee. It's like a lottery ticket. You can't find. You can walk around Washington, D.C. and just bump into liberals who are dying to do CNN hits. The only one afraid of CNN.
So there's only one debate scheduled, Miller. She's only agreed to one debate, and she's still arguing about the details. Do you think she does another debate, or are we going to see another one-punch knockout? Or three?
Well, we already know that she ran screaming in terror from the prospect of a Fox News debate. And of course, Brett Baier and Martha McCallum, are the two most you know them, Jesse, I know them, the two most down-the-middle journos in the country. They are truly right down the middle. And she ran away screaming in terror. Oh, but she'll totally keep America safe when we're dealing with the most dangerous autocrats in the world. She has so far refused to do the third debate. So she's canceled 2 out of the 3 debates. Look, we know what she's going to do. She's going to show up, just like her convention speech, and talk all about herself, her biography, her life, her personal dreams, everything except what the hell she's been doing for the last 3.5 years as vice president.
I love it. I love it. Stephen Miller not talking a whole lot of policy there, but he is ripping Kamala a new one. Now, I've got a couple of clips over here on the Twitter, which coincide with some of the things on this, including Susan Rice. You don't know who Susan Rice is? She's the Obama appointed mouthpiece for Biden and Kamala Harris. But I got a clip of her saying exactly who is responsible for the last 4 years. That's a good one too. All right, here we go, folks. We're gonna get into a little more Jesse Waters. This time we're gonna talk, uh, get into the election process of how states are handling the upcoming 2024 election with everything going on, all the illegals starting to vote or having access to vote, the no voter ID in some states, cleaning up the voter rolls. It's all happening in real time, folks. I've seen several states come around in the last 2 weeks to actually start doing the right thing, including Texas and Louisiana. It's good to know. Now, there's some states like California and Michigan and Wisconsin that are just refusing to do the right thing, which that's what happens when you let Democrats run things. But all right, here we go, folks. This is a pretty good take on the whole mail-in ballot thing from Jesse Waters and where we're at with several states.
Get out in court over election integrity. In North Carolina, the RNC is suing the Board of Elections because they aren't purging foreigners from the voter rolls. Remember,
Good
Democrats
job.
said illegals can't vote. But Virginia and Texas have already found thousands of people who aren't citizens registered to vote. The governors removed them, and so should every state. Another lawsuit in North Carolina claims 225,000 voters were registered without showing ID. Suspicious. In Arizona, Republicans are suing Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs for ordering mass voter registrations and ballot drops. Republicans say she's not allowed to do that. In Georgia, Republicans are trying to prevent election workers from just rubber stamping election results. Right now, you're allowed to conduct a reasonable inquiry before signing off on the vote totals if you notice numbers don't add up or suspect suspicious activity. But the Democrats are suing to stop that. We want every voter comfortable enough to trust the process. That means clean up the voter rolls in every state, delete all the dead people and the non-citizens so we can trust the results.
That's right. First things first, if you're not sure who's responsible, for this administration, for this border, for this situation we're in as a country, hold on just a second, folks. Now, this is just a piece of the take. This is actually Susan Rice. She's a tyrant. If you don't know who she is one of the people that is behind the scenes all the time working to destroy our country. She loves foreign wars. She's Obama appointed. She's been in Joe's ear since day one, just like Ron Klain. Just surrogates of the Obama administration, no doubt about it. But she's telling the truth right here. And this last part of the clip, the last 15 or 20 seconds of the clip, is a tell-all if anybody's confused about who's running the country right now.
To advance their collective agenda, the Biden-Harris collective agenda, and take it further forward. I think we all look forward to hearing that. But this notion that she somehow doesn't deserve credit for and isn't part of and wasn't an integral architect of the Biden-Harris administration agenda is not only false, it's frankly somewhat bizarre and offensive.
Did y'all catch that? Kamala's 100% responsible. To suggest anything different is false, offensive, and somewhat bizarre. So she's saying Kamala gets credit for all of their policies from day one. And that's one of the head Democrats right out of her mouth. I thought I'd share that with y'all. All right, I got a photograph here. It looks like Kamala Harris is applying for a job. This is a rare photo. Meme I made up. You may find it tacky, but it seemed kind of realistic to me. All right, here we go. We got Ken Paxton over here on Rural America's Voice. I had a little short interview with Stinchfield, and I thought it was good stuff to know. Very informative.
Look, this is the most important issue that we have in this country. If we can't have fair elections that are without fraud, then we don't have a constitutional republic, and we're controlled by a few people in Washington that control how the elections work and how the fraud works, then we've lost our country. So for me, there is no more important issue at the state level, at the federal level, and I'm hoping that more attorney generals get involved in this issue and that more governors get involved in this issue because we are losing our country to voter fraud.
Right.
All right, so tell me what your biggest concern is. I know there's NGOs involved. These are these non-governmental organizations that are helping the flow of migration into this country, most of it illegal. Are they helping them get driver's license, and then are the illegals registering to vote in Texas? Explain to me what you believe to be happening here.
So I think this was a plan from the day that Joe Biden started, because you'll notice it was day one. He didn't wait for a month. It was like top priority was to tell the cartels that we're not deporting anybody. So Joe Biden came out. Why would you announce, oh, we're not deporting anybody? You only announce because you want some action, and the action got done. The cartel started bringing people by the millions to our border, and that's exactly what the Biden administration has done. They come to the border. They don't have to hide anymore. They're not running from Border Patrol for the first time ever. They're actually just, it's a handoff to Border Patrol, and then the Biden administration takes care of these people, moves them where they want them. Oddly enough, probably a lot of swing states, Texas, Florida, and then give them Social Security numbers, which they can then get driver's license with in each state. And only 3 states have laws that require proof of citizenship. So now to vote, and now you've got people voting. And that was the plan all along: get illegals to this country, put them in the right states, and get them to vote. And I think that's what's going on.
No doubt in my mind, that's what's going on. I see it firsthand right here in Texas. It is going on like you would not believe. Now, Trump had an interview with Dr. Phil. Some of you may not know that. It is a very good interview. He's had one with him once before, but this was really an interesting interview. Trump talked about how we're going to have to take out the deep state. We're going to have to get rid of all this rot in our government. We're going to have to fire some people. We're going to have to prosecute some people. You haven't seen that interview, go check it out, folks. And I got a couple of clips here. We'll play about half of this clip here. This is a crazy Kamala clip. New video drop, the Kamala campaign.
The Media Research Center just polled registered Democrats and independents who voted for Joe Biden. 86% didn't know that Kamala Harris would consider allowing death row inmates to vote.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
81% didn't know that Harris wanted to eliminate private health insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
78% didn't know that Harris promoted a fund to bail out violent BLM rioters in 2020.
They're not going to let up, and they should not.
77% had never heard that Biden's border czar, Kamala Harris, actually wants to abolish ICE.
And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Even worse, Harris wants to open our borders even wider. 74% were completely unaware that Kamala believes it shouldn't be a crime to enter the U.S. illegally.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
73% had no idea she co-sponsored the job-killing Green New Deal.
I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
71% didn't know Harris supported defund the police or that she supported reparations.
Y'all listen to this, folks. This is terrifying, the policies that this lady is going to push forward. Not just the defund the police thing, but the fact that she's willing to get rid of the filibuster in order to pack the Supreme Court. This is crazy. These folks want to radically overthrow our country from inside out with their wicked policies, and it's unreal.
We need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
They're hiding Kamala because they don't even want their own voters to hear about any of this. This isn't about transparency or democracy. It's about staying in power. Former Obama official Michael McFaul admitted this. The paramount objective for Kamala Harris is to win this election. If a press conference helps her win, she should do it. If not, she shouldn't do it. It's just that simple. Translation: speaking without a script won't help Kamala Harris win. Talking to voters won't help her win. Explaining her Marxist beliefs about equality of outcome won't help her win. That's what Harris's handlers believe. Kamala Harris is a left of California radical who's been reduced to hiding from her own voters and repeating the same stump speeches over and over again, verbatim.
She's they're running her like they run Joe Biden, shadow campaign. That tells you that the fix is either in or something's going on. They're pretty confident not to be running her. Maybe they think they can't run her at this point on any level out in the public, other than just the one debate that she's going to do where she gets destroyed.
Saying before this, look, unfortunately for America, the court isn't necessarily wrong that this is the way the framers wanted it to be. They wanted Congress, the people who are closest to their constituents, to be able to make the rules of the laws.
What she's saying is basically that it's unfortunate to America that the Supreme Court decided to allow Trump to be on the ballot. Now, this is the lady that Dana Bash, who will be doing Trump's first, or Kamala Harris's first softball interview. You will kind of wonder why she picked her. No surprise to me, folks. All right, let's get back. I got a couple more good clips here for you today, a couple more little juicy pieces of information. Says this is a huge victory for the working Americans who won't have to pay for these illegal student loan cancellation scheme. What's happened is the Supreme Court yesterday, I believe it was, ruled that the Joe Biden Kamala Harris student loan bailout scheme is unconstitutional. And Attorney General in Missouri, his name is Bailey. He is one of the people that has been fighting to get this done, or fighting to stop this, along with America First Legal and Ken Paxton. Several attorney generals have now got to where they're working together to stop a lot of this crazy stuff from the left. It's just astounding how far the left will go to destroy this country. Now, this here is a great photograph of Mark Zuckerberg in handcuffs. Now, everybody knows a few months back, Mark Zuckerberg says on Joe Rogan, the CIA, the government, the FBI basically were forced me to let them have a back door into Facebook, and had me throttling accounts and suppressing information, including involving the virus and the laptop and so many things. Just working for the government, basically suppressing the truth on Facebook. Well, Zuckerberg is once again this week spouted the same exact statement in so many words, saying, "Yeah, I worked with the government, even the Biden-Harris campaign, to censor Trump, and still to this day, I'm censoring conservatives on Facebook." He says, "But I see the error of my ways, and I'm sorry." So I got to wondering, why now is Zuckerberg really pushing this out there? Is it about he's turned over a new leaf? He don't want to steal elections anymore? Something of that nature? I don't think so. I think the truth of the matter is he's doing damage control because he sees what's coming, because he believes now that Trump's going to win this election. And so he wants to be on the right side of the situation when Trump's holding power, and can rein in Facebook for everything they're doing illegal over there, including the Instagram promoting child nudity and stuff like that. There's so many things that Zuckerberg could be in trouble for, including the censorship, including colluding with the government against Trump and American citizens' right to free speech. So many things Zuckerberg could go to jail for. So I got to really start wondering why this apology, explanation, spill the beans moment now. And like I said, I think it's damage control, and here's why. So Donald Trump is a serious man. If you don't want to be in jail for the rest of your life, don't help Kamala Harris cheat in 2024 elections. And this goes for the billionaires who think they're untouchable as well. This was a tweet by Behizzi. I think that's so accurate. I think that's what's really going on, folks. I think he's a little bit worried about the new administration coming back in. Now, right here, it says, this is a new book. In his new book, Trump's new book, Save America, Trump threatens Mark Zuckerberg with a prison sentence if he does anything illegal in the 2024 election. Didn't know that. So there's the reason I believe that this ball got to rolling in this direction. That's why Zuckerberg is now speaking out. Says he will spend the rest of his life in prison, in quotations. That must be something Trump said in the book. Says Mark Zuckerberg would come into the Oval Office. He would bring in his wife. Apologize, folks, I can't see. He would bring his wife over to dinner. He would be nice. He would be nice to me. And then at the same time, he's plotting to steal the next election while he's trying to be Trump's friend during his first term. It's a bunch of shit, folks. I don't trust that reptilian no more than I can throw him, no further than I can throw him. If there is such thing as lizard people and reptilians, like Nancy Pelosi and has admitted to, and Hillary Clinton has been accused of, there's such thing as reptilian people, folks. He's probably one of them. Just my opinion, folks. He is probably a reptile. That may be conspiracy theory, but now here, folks, I've got a great video clip. We'll leave off with this one here. This is Dinesh D'Souza. He's made several movies, documentary type movies, including the famous 2000 Mules movie. And he's doing an interview with a Muslim about the voters. This is a crazy interview, a little short interview, but it is definitely something worth watching. I'm going to expand this thing real quick.
Give their vote to the leftist who...
Back it up. This is a crazy video, folks. Bear with me. This is the last one of the day. All right, this will work. All righty, let me just pull this over a little bit. This is a crazy interview. I'll just leave it at that, folks. Won't have no more to say about it. Like, subscribe, and share to go to Patriots if you haven't already. And tell me what you think in the comment section down below about this guy's point.
Lord help us, just listen to this.
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. And she's fighting for abortion rights. My body, my choice. Yes, go do that. Go do it. But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
Lord